Hey everyone, and welcome to a new video. It's been a while, but it's also been crazy hectic, and my cat has been in the animal hospital, so to speak, and so in order to distract myself after weeks of all of that, I thought I would do a tag. Now my voice is going. So Rochelle over at Amethyst Ascension, she did a VR to a hashtag, and she tagged me among other people. And so I thought, okay, let's talk a bit about my witchy practice. The original tag, I believe, was from Ravenflower. I'm looking over at my computer, and it has 22 questions about the witchy practice. And yeah, so I will leave all the information in the description box, the original video, the questions, the channels that I'm going to refer to, everything will be down there. So let's get started. Okay, question number 1, and I guess I'll take 2 in there as well. New Year's resolutions. Do you believe in them? Why or why not? I don't really do New Year's resolutions. And the reason for that is if I want to make any changes in my life, I can do that whenever. I don't need to wait for a specific calendar date to do that. If I want to change something, I will do it whenever I come up with the idea. So in that sense, New Year's resolutions don't really work for me because, yeah, I'm most likely not going to stick to that. If something is really worth it for me to invest my time and energy into, I will do that throughout the year. Number 3, what is your favorite color, or what are your favorite colors? I think my favorite color, even though it's technically not a color, would be white. And I love the light, the airiness of that color, and white goes with everything. But I also like the whole winter palette, like all the dark and cool colors, like a very cool pink, magenta, or something like my nails. I like a dark purple. I like a very bluish, cool green, those kind of colors. So basically the winter palette, that would be my favorites, and silver. Number 4, does your favorite color hold magical or emotional meaning for you? Well, my favorite color being white, and my association with white is not so much the whole purity thing in a way. It's more like the spiritual essence and death. Ever since I was 14, like all the years after that, I've had a lot of family deaths in my family. So lots of people have left, and death has always somehow been there in a way. And I'm not afraid of death. I'm quite curious to see what happens after I die, but I guess I'm just gonna have to wait until it's my time to go. And for me, yeah, the white is just like this heavenly kind of thing. Like there's no pain, there's no, like, for me, death is also a peaceful kind of state. So for me, the color white I associate with something very peaceful and pure and spiritual, and all of that, like moving on to the next one, where we don't know what kind of colors there are on the other side. So the canvas is kind of blank for everything that comes after that, I guess. Number 5, do you use substances for divination or meditation, as in flying oils, herbs, alcohol? And question 6, why or why not? I do not use anything like that per se. Like I do some fire offerings. Like I would do, like, have these charcoal things, these round tablets or whatever you call them, and like put some stuff on that and burn it for a ritual. But other than that, I have never tried any of these flying herbs or lotions or anything like that. And alcohol, I don't really drink alcohol because it doesn't do anything for me. I just get sleepy, fall asleep, and so That's the only thing that alcohol will do to me. Like, I never get that fun kind of buzz that other people might have. I just fall asleep. So in that sense, it wouldn't really be helpful for me if I wanted to focus on something. Alcohol is not the go-to. So yeah. Number 7, what is your favorite part of your practice? I guess the favorite part of it is just the possibilities and the connections. And that is the connection with nature, with Mother Earth, and to like really dive deep into the things that we cannot really see, but we somehow have this knowing, this intuitive knowing that they're there, like powers that are bigger than us. And to feel part of that is something that I really like. Also, thankfully, through YouTube, I was able to connect with other witches and practitioners and tarot readers. And I love the exchange part, like running ideas by one another and like, okay, I did this ritual. What do you think? Or I want to do this. What kind of stuff would you recommend? Have you ever done anything like that? This kind of stuff. Like I love this connectiveness in all sorts of ways. Because for me, when I do rituals, it's not just like in the movies where the witch is like snapping with her fingers and then something magically appears. It's not like that. For me, it's more part of my manifestation and to get myself into that mindset. Like when I write the spell, I take time to find the words that I want to focus on. And when I then release it, I just let the universe take over and do with that what they want. Because for me, a ritual is basically just asking for help. I do rituals to ask for help or to give thanks. That's really the two main reasons for me to do a ritual. Yeah. And number 8, what is the least favorite part of your practice? I guess the least favorite part of this whole thing would be maybe being judged by others, like stereotypes and all that. Other people not, I don't want to say not taking it seriously, because I don't care if people take it seriously or not. They're not me. Like, I just have to take it seriously for me. But what I don't like about this, like when I tell people, when I trust them enough to let them know that this is part of my life, I don't want the whole judgmental thing, like, are you completely crazy? I thought you were an intelligent person. How can you believe in something like this? Like this whole other side of the spectrum of people and how they view these things. I guess that would be my least favorite part, because I have had experiences like that. There was a person who in 1 minute told me they loved me, and then the next minute after I told them, yeah, this is what I believe in, this is what I do, and the stuff that followed was gut-wrenching. And so yeah, the whole I love you thing, I guess, didn't really mean anything in that sense. So yeah, this is the least favorite part of my practice. Number 9, how do you feel your practice has grown over time? Well, it definitely has grown. It was a lot of trial and error with certain things. And I think I got a lot more relaxed in a way. Like in the beginning, as a new witch, when I started, I thought everything had to be done by book, and I would have to do the rituals based on how other people wrote them down in witchy books and everything like that. Until I then figured out, no, like this has to come from me. I cannot just recite someone else's spell. It has to come from within me. It has to be mine. And that, like, as soon as I did that, my practice for me became a lot more freeing, and it felt so much better, because I didn't spend hours searching for the perfect spell based on whatever it was that I wanted to do. No, if I couldn't find it, I would just create it. And that is something that I learned through trial and error also. And also, I learned with certain spells that I did how they would work, if they would backfire. And yes, I did have those moments where something completely turned back and bit me in the ass. Thankfully, not very many, but it happened. And I learned through that. And so, whenever I do a ritual, I will choose my words very carefully and I will really try not to overstep and really respect people's free will. I cannot do anything against someone else's wishes. I can only do things for me. Like if if it involves another person, then I would try to do a spell where I say, okay, please protect me in this situation, or please help me to get through this. So I would put the spell on me instead of the other person. So that is also something that I learned. Number 10, is there a show or movie that inspires you? Well, I guess it's the typical shows and movies that probably a lot of people will mention, whether that's Charmed, Practical Magic, Buffy, Angel, Vampire Diaries, and the spin-offs and all of that. But the very first witchy show that I ever watched when I was 9 years old was Bewitched. And that one was, even though that has nothing to do with our kind of practice, because I cannot wiggle my nose and then something will happen. Or, like I said, at the snap of my finger, something will just appear. Or like Sabrina, the teenage witch, things like that. No, but I did like the whole idea of like the whole witchy thing being a completely separate world in a way, where people have a different kind of knowledge away from the muggles, so to speak. And so, yeah, I watched all of the Harry Potters just recently. I watched all of them again. And yeah, so there's like a lot of these shows and movies that I have watched, and probably more than I can even say. One of the first movies I watched was, what was it, Teen Witch? I believe Teen Witch. And that one was my lesson in how not to do things, because she basically did all of that the wrong way kind of thing. And thankfully, she learned from it. And that gave me a good impression of, okay, what not to do. And I think I was maybe like 14 or 15 when I saw that movie for the first time. So, yeah, that was very inspirational in a way. What was it? Number 11, do you have a familiar? Yes and no. I do have cats, and since I was, well, a few months before my 13th birthday, I have always lived with cats. And my first cat, Prince, when I would start doing any kind of magical stuff, or when I would do a tarot reading, he would always come and just lay right down on either my Book of Shadows or my tarot cards, things like that. So he was kind of being present during all of that, but none of my other cats ever cared about this kind of stuff. So in a way, they are my familiars, but I do not actively work with them. But sometimes I have this feeling like when they're staring at a certain point and they're like really fixated, and it's usually the same point, like in a door frame that they're looking at, and I'm like, is there someone standing there? But other than that, I don't really integrate them into my practice. Number 12, would you recommend any YouTube channels? Let's see. Well, one of the first witchy channels that I ever watched on YouTube was Ember Honeyraven. And her YouTube channel has been around for a long time. I haven't watched it in recent years, but she has definitely been one of the first witchy channels I ever watched. And she's got a lot of great content. And I also love her Southern accent. I just love listening to that. And otherwise, well, Rochelle, who tagged me, Amethyst Ascension, she explains a few things from her witchy practice on her channel. And Summer from Astaria Sen, she works with the Fae, so that's a different kind of magic, something that I don't work with. So if anyone is interested in that, check out her channel. And of course, Courtney from, oh my God, you changed your channel. What's your channel name? It used to be Erie's Witchcraft. Now it's Stories and Lore. And forgive me, I don't know the channel. It will be in the description. I'm sorry, I don't know the name right now. Yeah, so she works with the left-hand path, and that is also something that I have not tried myself, but she does have some great videos explaining how she works with that, and so if anyone is interested in that, go and check out her channel. Number 13, name something you must do daily for your mental, emotional well-being for your practice. Nothing, because I mustn't do anything. Everything that I do is because I want to do it, not because I have to. For me, I don't like the idea of like, okay, I have to have the schedule and I have to stick to the schedule and all of that. No, that for me is stressful, and that would be the opposite of what I would try to do with like concerning mental health and stuff. So for me, I only do things when I actually feel up to it. The same with, like, let's say I'm sick and I have a cold or something, and then of course I'm not going to be at my physically strongest, and therefore I will not really have the strength to really put my energy into a ritual, and then I will stay away from that. And it doesn't matter if it's going to be an equinox or if it's Halloween or something. If I don't feel up to it, I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to let my body rest until I'm strong enough for the next time when I want to do something. And so for me, whatever I do, in order for it to feel good, it has to happen like on its own time. Like I have to feel it, I have to want to do it, and then I will do it. But I will never do anything like, oh, the calendar says it's this day now and it's the Sabbath, so I have to do this. No, if I don't feel like it, I'm not going to celebrate the Sabbath day. It's as simple as that. Number 14, what is something that started as an obstacle that you can now see as a blessing? I don't really have an answer to that question. No, not when it comes to my witchy practice. No, I can't really answer that one. Number 15, which do you prefer, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok? Well, I don't have TikTok. I never will. I do have Instagram and I do have Facebook, and obviously I have a YouTube channel. And I guess out of all of those, I prefer YouTube because it is not just a place for me to put my own videos on, but it's also a very helpful source of information in all aspects of life. So YouTube has really become my primary source of entertainment, information, all of that together. And I post some stuff on Instagram. Facebook is mostly to connect with people from work and some friends and use the messenger and stuff. But yeah, mostly YouTube. 16, what do you feel is missing from our witchy community? I guess the same thing that's missing everywhere at all times, and that would be compassion. Especially now over the past 2 years, I'm kind of appalled by how society has changed. Well, we haven't really changed, but these past 2 years have really shown us what we are made of and what people are capable of in the best and worst kind of ways. And I think for a long time, we have, like for a long time now, we've forgotten how to walk a mile in someone else's shoes. And so if there was one thing that I could wish for, it would be more compassion. Because we don't have to like everything that other people do. And if we want to live by the whole live and let live and harm none thing, I think that is quickly out of the window when it comes to certain issues that people don't agree with, and how do they resolve those disagreements. So yeah, compassion is one thing that is missing in the world, not just in the witchy society, but everywhere. Number 17, how much space do you use for supplies and spell work? Well, the only thing that I really have is my witchy toolbox. And this is just a wooden box that my grandpa actually made. Like he made this box himself out of wood. He painted it, and it has like all my witchy stuff in it. So yeah, and that's really all I have. I do have another cabinet where I keep some of that charcoal stuff and some candles. That's not in here because it probably wouldn't fit. But yeah, in here I have things like rose petals. I've got olibanum. This is one of my favorite smells. I've got some sage from the kitchen in here, because why spend a whole lot of money if you can just get it at the grocery store? I've got some saffron that my mom bought for me in Ibiza, I think. I've got some cinnamon stuff. I've got, what else do I have? Red sandalwood as a powder. I have, what else is here? Benzoe Sumatra, like this kind of stuff to burn. I have patchouli oil, moschus oil. I've got myrrh, first choice. I have dragon's blood, devil's dirt, rosemary, and some other stuff, some oils, and I even have an ongoing spell in here that is marinating for a while. And I also have some chicken bones. And all of this stuff in here, like most of it has been in here since the year 2000 when I put this together. And so, yeah, a lot of it has been kind of being infused with ancestral magic in a way for 22 years now, because those chicken bones are from a chicken that my mom made, and I asked her if I could have the bones, and we actually did work with some of the bones already. And yeah, like a lot of the ingredients here are also from that time when I ordered them at this witchy online shop that sadly doesn't exist anymore. And yeah, most of it is really old. And like I said, this box was made by my grandpa. So like some really good family magic, family juju in here. And that's really all I need. I don't really need that much else anymore. And even this, I don't use all the time. Sometimes I really only just write a spell on a piece of paper, and then I will go out in the full moon, for example. I will say my spell, I will burn the piece of paper, and that's it. That's really it. Next question. 18. How many altars do you have in your home? Currently, none. I used to have one, but right now I don't really feel like tending to an altar and doing all that stuff. So in the future, maybe I will have an altar again. Right now, I don't. Because if I want to do something, my altar is nature outside. It's as simple as that. 19. What is your favorite Sabbat? My favorite would be the summer solstice, because I've always liked this idea of the longest day and the shortest night, the beginning of summer when it's warm. Also, summer is the season when my birthday is. And so, yeah, the summer solstice has always been my favorite. Number 20, do you prefer tarot, runes, oracle deck, or pendulum? I prefer tarot. It's the most used out of the ones that have been named. I do have oracle decks, and I will use them every once in a while in combination with tarot. But for the most part, I use tarot, mostly on its own. Number 21, are you out of the broom closet? Not really. The people that I share this practice with or this lifestyle with, they know about it, obviously. But aside from my family and very, very close friends, no one really knows about this because I feel like this is something very private for me, and I'm not doing it to like I'm not telling people in order for them to give me some sort of reaction. Like if I feel I can trust them and I want to let them into my circle, then of course I will tell them because it's a part of me. And if they really want to know me, then I have to share that part too, or I want to share that part. But the people who don't know about it, they are simply not in my inner circle. It's as simple as that. And last question, who are you going to tag in this video? I guess most of the people that I watch or know that have a witchy practice and a YouTube channel have already been tagged in other videos, so I don't really know who hasn't been tagged yet that I can think of right now. So I guess if you have a witchy practice and you haven't been tagged yet, then consider yourself tagged if you want to join and do this hashtag as well. Please feel free to do that. And yeah, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching and spending some time with me. And I hope to see you in a future video. Until then, take care. Bye.